Yes, just slightly. Like all of these things.
Oh.
Yeah, I think Woodsville was on it yesterday, and then the other one was.
Woodsville's an update.
Oh. And White Horse is the thank you.
Oh,
And Lincoln, only the money horse.
I just sent you those this morning, so.
Yeah, they just popped up.
It was gone late yesterday.
The
new agenda.
You know, these requests.
Oh.
Oh, yeah, I see, okay. Okay, so we have all our answers. So Craig is not here. So we start with, you could sign check registers, there's a lot today. Okay.
Do your finger calisthenics, get them warmed up.
This later.
Alrighty. I thought of you.
Which,
What that you use?
oh, good.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
yeah.
was outside this morning.
It's $1,000.
Yeah, but, it seems like they've changed this, well, this week's or something, because they have some that are both the charge and the deposit for the water.
Oh,
On the same page instead of two different ones.
Wow, right.
You still get the,
On the same paper, the
at
middle.
least we get the, and but the refund is on a separate, so. But I'm like, we even did that, 300,
those,
you know, since like,
They go from here to there.
yeah, and now I'm entering them too, so I feel like I touched them 10 times.
but it's like, when I was like, wait, this is for 300 something dollars, I've never had one for that amount before.
Good morning, Craig.
Good morning.
Good morning.
We started signing something while we were.
Sure, yeah, sorry.
But we're moving at lightning speed here. Huh? Impressive. Here, what do you think of that? That's. Must be Tuesday morning.
Snowy Tuesday morning.
Did you have snow on the way over?
Yes.
I thought I got down here actually, but we did.
I did. We get everything down there. I was just saying to Commissioner, the Ocean Valley, it's cold, it's.
Not enjoyable.
It's a cool place in New Hampshire to live, but it's like, it's cold, raw. Today, so I didn't see any snow.
There was a few light flurries up this way, but nothing on the. Good morning.
Snowing pretty heavy where I live.
Was it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I had.
As soon as I got on the 91, it's.
All right, well, good morning.
So as of this morning, our census is 123. Do have two admissions planned for this week. Well, actually, we've got 3 admissions, so one coming today, and then one tomorrow and Thursday as well. So our census is kind of holding steady there. You'll see the payer mix is doing really well with 6 Medicare residents. The New Hampshire Medicaid, we haven't seen too much traction with regards to the contracting agency working with the HHS and the Medicaid pending backlog. We do know that they have 2 of our pending cases that they're working on, but we haven't, like I said, seen much traction with that yet. I am hearing just anecdotally across the state that, you know, they are active, that they're working on I think, if I understood the DHHS report correctly, that, they're receiving about 50 cases a week. And so they're starting to make some traction out there, other nursing homes across the state, so. So they're doing all right, but we haven't seen too much from that yet. Vermont Medicaid still doing well, from the standpoint of, just the overall number and then the 2 pending cases that we've got. And VA is trending right where we wanted it to be, and private pay has got a very nice increase right there.
Yeah, it sure is.
Yeah, so payer mix is doing well, for us, so. And since my last, report, we've had 4 admissions, for the month of March. We had 5 residents pass away, and 2 discharges.
Questions on that?
No, thank you.
So as I had mentioned during our budget presentation last Thursday, we did have the state surveying team in the building last week. They arrived last Tuesday, and left on Thursday afternoon. So it's nice. We got a couple of nice little compliments from the team this year. The first being that they found the cleanliness of the building to be very, very good. That it was one of the cleanest facilities in the state, basically, which is nice. It's a nice compliment given the age of the building, but recognition for the environmental services staff. They do such a nice job. And the other one that I thought was really neat was that they said that our staff, typically when they go into buildings, the staff run away from them. So they kind of like put blinders up or like, don't look at me type, just let me run in the opposite direction of wherever a surveyor is walking towards. But they said our staff were so friendly, welcoming, engaging, very, very knowledgeable about the residents. And so I just thought that was really a nice compliment to hear. That it's a stressful experience, but to know that, and I can understand why people would run away, but to know that, and I think that just kind of speaks to the confidence that our staff have, but also the confidence and the knowledge that they have for the residents that they care for. So I just thought that was a really nice, some nice feedback to hear from them, so.
It's like the best that you could, some of the best feedback I would think that you could get in a nursing home.
I think
is
so,
the knowledge and
yeah.
hospitality of the
Yeah.
staff. That's wonderful.
Yeah. So it was good. So they've taken back 5 items back to the office. Back in the previous years, you used to be able to know, like at the end of a survey, that you were going to receive X number of citations. In this instance, in today's world, there's, I think, just a lot of gray area with, and how one individual will interpret a regulation versus, others on the team. And so the current bureau chief likes to have the team meet at the beginning of the week following a survey. So they've taken 5 areas back to the office to talk through. So I don't know whether they're going to result in deficiency citations or not. But the areas that they're bringing back involve 2 incidents that took place on one of our floors in regards to things that the team felt should have been reported to the office. So one was in regards to a resident who was pushing another resident's wheelchair out of the way. They felt that result rose to the level of resident to resident abuse. We didn't interpret it that way, but again, so that's being discussed. And so this then, because we didn't report it, we also didn't notify the families of the two residents, and so they
Can you
felt that they're
explain
sort
that
of.
again, why that was.
So basically, and I'll just use this as an example, the resident was trying to get through, but it was, just. Or, there were residents in the area, so he took the resident's wheelchair and pushed it. They felt as though, based on documentation and then interviewing with staff, that there was more aggression displayed in pushing the chair. We didn't necessarily see it that way, though. But it's just because the resident that ended up doing that does have a diagnosis that would result in him, becoming amputated at times. And so there wasn't anything, injury wise or anything like that occurred. It's just the way that, and from their perspective, the way that the chair was moved rose to that resident to resident incident level. And again, they felt that it should have been reported. So
I'm sorry, the resident that moved the chair didn't say anything, he just moved the chair
Yeah.
from behind.
Yeah.
So how did, if it didn't appear to be much of an issue, certainly not to rise to that level, how did the surveyors even know about the incident?
because it was documented in the record, and so they ended up talking to the, and I could get into more detail if you would like, but they ended up talking to the staff member that wrote the note. And so there was one person's view of that versus others that
Yeah.
didn't see it as being that big of a concern. So they went with one person's view versus kind of the overall majority. So
Did you have a question?
No, I was just.
Oh, okay. So what is the best practice way to deal with that situation when it happens?
well, going forward, if we get a citation for this, we'll be reporting it. I think, there's been kind of like there's been a lot of uncertainty over the years of what should be reported and what shouldn't be reported to the office. For a period of time, they wanted to have everything reported regardless. And then it got to the point where facilities were inundating the survey team with reportables that they ended up having to follow up on. And then they kind of switched the stance to only report things that are suspicious, or injuries of unknown origin. So, I think when you know something has happened and it's been documented and you've seen exactly what took place, why would we report it if
Right.
that's what the guidance has been? But it seems as though now we're starting to swing the pendulum back to report everything. So the other areas looking at antipsychotic usage. In one resident case, we're not 100% sure exactly what is going to be looked at with this one. There's a resident that has been on an antipsychotic for a period of time. I don't know if they feel as though the documentation that if they feel documentation is lacking in regards to the justification for its usage. So I couldn't get a whole lot from the surveyor that was investigating this. So I don't know exactly what the issue is there. So we'll find out. And then the other areas in regards to a physical therapy or a therapy issue related to a resident that was experiencing neck pain. The physical therapy team was evaluated the resident, but chose not to pick the resident up for service. And it appears as though we didn't step in right after that to put another alternative in place to help the resident with neck pain. And, you know, so specifically talking about, you know, if it wasn't going to be a physical therapy service, was there an opportunity for a restorative nursing program to be put into place to help the resident? So it seems as though that we dropped the ball on that one there, so. So those are, kind of the big areas that we're looking at, and, so we'll see, you know, kind of what happens. I'll keep you posted. I would imagine by the end of this week, we'll have an idea of what the survey deficiencies are. And then we'll start the process of writing the plan of correction. Put plans in place to fix the issues, whatever they may be, so.
Any questions about?
No.
No, but I would like to say, and especially for the people online, that finding just a few things like this is actually a very good result of a survey. And even though it, you know, you report all of them, that's actually a very good report, and kudos to you and your staff for providing such excellent care.
So if there's no other questions on the survey, I do have a request to enter a non-public session.
I will make a motion to go into a non-public session per RSA 91 uppercase A:3, Roman numeral 2, parentheses C.
Second.
And Commissioner Hedberg spoke,
Yes.
Commissioner Piper,
Yes.
Commissioner McLeod is yes.
Yeah, like that.
And we're gonna move on. A couple things. We got the Grafton County Conservation Annual Meeting.
You received an invite to the annual meeting on May 9th for the Grafton County.
At the,
Saturday, May 9th, from 4 to 8 at Dowd's Country Inn in Lime.
Oh, that's nice.
Tickets are, you have to RSVP by the 23rd, and tickets are $55 per person. Includes dinner, presentation, and there's that.
we have, I have done this at least once, this pretty interesting meeting. And I think last year didn't someone, another one of you went to?
We went to the farm
Farm
bureau
bureau.
Or
dinner.
was this kind of?
This is something
This is
different.
Different, right. 80 years, that's amazing.
So if we want to go, then we
Yes, we're so.
respond.
And I had gotten an email about it, on March 25th, so I don't know if you also got one.
Oh. Look at it on tracker. Oh, Orion, Dr. Orion Welling from the Gold Research and Engineering Lab down in Hanover is gonna speak. Science at the extremes. Why it matters.
Maybe we should go.
Yeah, that sounds interesting. Indeed. Nice. Thanks for catching that. And here's a favorite, so the Crank the Crank by Grace. And the reason why, I'm trying to think where they come from.
Kennett High School's mountain bike team does a
Oh.
bike race. Must be, I would expect some
So
sort
it's
of
the
fundraiser.
Livermore on the Crank.
It goes through Conway, Albany, Livermore, and Waterville, and you'll put your chief of police hat on according to the application today for Livermore.
Fun. Fun.
From 8 until 1.
And that's
And so the reason why Carroll County Sheriff.
yeah, so they have to have permits to be able to do the routes on the state highway.
Okay, so it's for the town of Livermore, with
Yes.
granting permission
That's
through the
right.
high school. All right, is that cool? with
Mhm.
everybody? It's that spot right
Yeah.
there.
This is a gel one if
All
you're
right.
trying that.
The date is
7%.
Oh.
Thank you.
And we also had a meeting on 4/2.
Did I write that bill on last week's? Would be a good one on last week.
No, because that's due to the end of March and I signed the mileage
Thank you.
things,
That's
last
a Thursday.
Thursday, so that's
Oh my
before
gosh,
too.
thanks very much.
And we had, through the, they were in the invoices
Thank you
last.
very much for that. With the price of gas right now,
Yeah, I know.
without the government pick it up.
It's 70 something cents. Mile reimbursement. 72 and a half, 72 and a half, yeah. Okay, so this is the DOC Superior Court report that's always just passing around. Tell you what, we'll just start that there and come back around. Use and occupancy agreement with New Hampshire DOT or DOT. as
Yep.
it's known.
New Hampshire DOT, so this is in regards to our broadband project, and it's a right controlled access right of way and limited access right of way for our project to go along Interstate 93 and US Route 3. I think that's in this one's in the Campton, Clinton, sort of that whole area, so it's they require this occupancy agreement in order for that project to move along.
Okay, so one signature.
It just needs your signature, yes.
We have the CBBG drawdown for the LRPC transformational plan grant. So it's Lakes Region Plan Right Insurance, and for this $1,750.23.
Just your signature.
Any place you have to put that?
Somewhere down here where your name is my,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. Then we have opioid abatement requests, and we have 3 items under that.
The first one is Woodsville. If you remember, they came back and asked for some more funds for the brackets. So Julie had reached out to ask if they had ordered the ventilators yet. And Renzo replied, and this is his answer, that they have, the vents have been ordered and are on their way. And he said if there are any leftover funds, we would take any, even if they are small. We can work on getting the brackets little by little. I'm very appreciative for all your help. So that's the feedback on his
And
additional
who
request.
who has the number that they were looking for? Was this 17,000?
Yeah,
Yeah, I think I have it here.
well, and we have, no, that was the monitor that.
The monitor.
All right, so it was 19,085 that they requested for the brackets.
That's right. 19,000.
At this point, we really don't know what the final number is. So we're done with the budget process.
Right.
So is that an answer that?
It was just to give you that feedback more than to make a decision today. And then we can talk more about it. We'll make sure we keep it on the
I
radar.
think
as
the
we do
thought
the
was
budget.
that they order 3 instead of 4, but since they've already ordered them.
Yeah.
That opportunity doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Just a quick question then, didn't we, wasn't Julie able to state what has been, everything that has been obligated? Wasn't she able to give us like a balance that was left and it was like $30,000?
Like 30,000, and I think that with as little as $30,000 and us not finishing the budget process, I don't want to obligate that to someone that we've already given almost 70,000 to.
I think we have the DOC still to talk to.
Yeah.
Mhm.
No, we've met with everyone, but we have the,
Yeah,
we've met with everyone, but we have the deliberative process on what we do with the budget. I don't know if there's anything else we could do.
So we think there may be 30,000.
There may be 30
there,
things.
there was, there is 30,000. But the question is, what Commissioner Hedberg is saying is, do we want to hold on to that until we're done with the deliberative sessions? But we've done the social services, we've obligated it to the departments. That was my understanding. Because it was a mistake, it was, somebody said 40,000, and then I said, how do you subtract this and get
Yes.
40,000?
Right.
So we do have, from what we've learned, we have 30,000. But then the question is, should we wait until we get through?
We should at least wait until we hear what he's all.
Right.
And then, yeah, I mean, we could use some of the LATCF. Need to.
I understand that. I also think that if someone has missed something huge, we don't need to be responsible for that. We have given them, we were very generous with the money. It's a very good use of the funds. But there are many good uses for funds, and to be honest, I would not have approved that total amount. If they asked for the 4 ventilators and brackets, I don't think I would have gone up to would have been almost $80,000.
Well, I have to say, just to follow up on what Commissioner Hedberg said, that did stick in my mind a little bit. It bothered me a little bit that it was a mistake on the part of the requesting agency. It slipped through the cracks, and so, that's, I agree, I understand what you're saying. That bothered me a little too.
I guess I would be open to making sure they can use this. The equipment.
And I think, yeah, I think that was the question that was brought up last time, wasn't it? Can they use the equipment that they?
And can they return one and then buy the brackets? I mean, I think that there's, if in our home budgets, we ordered something we couldn't use, we would then have to return one and use whatever that, if that's possible.
It's a very good point. And I do think that both of those points were made last week. That you had made that point, or somebody did, about returning one. And Commissioner McLeod's point was also made that, are these now useless? So we did, I'm just trying to refresh us. We did talk about that. So. Yeah.
So I think we should just put it aside until
Yeah.
we're done with the budget process.
I agree.
Because I just. There could
Yep.
be some other things that go on here, so. Need to have a little cushion. The second one related to opioid abatement is White Horse Recovery. And they want to extend their deepest gratitude for the generous donation opioid funds that we made to them in March. This enables White Horse to deliver compassionate, evidence-based services right here in Grafton County where the need is great. And so they mentioned rural areas. I'm just paraphrasing this as we go along. And the investment helps to bridge some critical gaps in care. They're very thankful. And they specifically mentioned transportation barriers that prevent access to essential services, affordable evidence-based care for individuals and families, and peer recovery programs that guide individuals on their journey to lasting transformation. So they're really on behalf of everyone at White Horse, the families and the individuals that this will touch, they thank us for making a profound difference. So very nice.
Nice.
And that is signed by Matthew Plosh, the executive director, who we met that day. So.
Great, thank you.
And then the third one is,
Yeah, and I apologize for the lateness of this. I got it late yesterday afternoon, but this is a request for funding from Lincoln Police Department for $32,000.
okay, this is different because I also have something from Mr. Bluegrass from in Woodstock. I
haven't seen that.
No, okay, I'll send that one. I haven't had a chance to read
Okay.
it, but, so this is a request from Lincoln for funding for opioid abatement allocation. They would like to acquire an unmarked vehicle dedicated to narcotics and opioid related investigations. They explain that the crisis is in the community. Devastating consequences of the dissolution of the New Hampshire Drug Task Force has significantly shifted the burden of drug enforcement onto local departments, where people resources are already limited. So they have had a much greater role in conducting drug investigation, surveillance, interdiction efforts. And so that impacts not only enforcement, but also disrupts the supply chain. It's the geographic connection to Interstate 93 and Franconia Notch. It means that those things are even more challenging and puts them right in the so they're looking for an unmarked cruiser, unlike marked cruisers, easily identifiable. The unmarked vehicle allows them to operate discreetly, so that's what they're looking for.
Well,
Wow,
even,
drug transactions occurring at the trailheads, rest areas, and the walking areas, and I believe that I have encountered those myself. I'm sure you have too. Yeah. A little unpleasant, yes. Very. So, this would directly enhance our ability of identifying and apprehend individuals, distributing illicit substances, support long-term investigations that target high-level suppliers, and will reduce the availability of dangerous drugs, strengthen regional enforcement efforts. So they're requesting 32,000 to purchase a Fortis to be used exclusively for this purpose.
that'd be a good request.
And they go on to explain that. So that's what they're looking for. And it's signed by Chief Chad Morris of the Lincoln Police Department. It's not unreasonable request if we have some funds for it, absolutely.
I think it's a good request, but I think as with the previous one, we need to wait until we finish the budget process and reevaluate.
Let me see if I can find this other one here that. So this is from John Buford, the chief of Linwood Ambulance. Is there any funding left? As we are looking at a substantial cost to upgrade our IV pumps, the ones that are serviceable. And so they mentioned Woodsville Ambulance, I think that's what they did, right? Was that the one? Somebody else do IV pumps? He mentions Woodsville as.
So Woodsville got the ventilators.
Ventilators, yeah. So there's that, and I'll forward this to you all.
Okay, great.
I don't know if I was the only, yeah, I guess I was the only person. I thought, just assumed that it was others. Sent. Boy,
Shall I just add it to the requests and we'll revisit all of these toward the end or, okay.
yeah, and I'll just, I'll get back to him and suggest perhaps that they send a letter with a dollar amount or something. And explain the situation. So maybe at this point, we should talk about yesterday's.
Yes, I think
meeting. That, Commissioner Hedberg and I were both on that opioid abatement call. It was interesting. They did talk about the Granite Way grants in the beginning, which I didn't have anything to really look at the same time to know what they were.
Well, as they had some up on the screen, I was trying to look, and it appears that the Granite United Way funds, and this may be something we want to look at, it looks like the individual grants, and I don't remember the exact, because they had two different kinds, but through the Granite United Way, there were individual grants, and they all look like they were for up to $15,000. No matter, and no one was over $15,000. A few were under. And the question was asked, why was some under? And it was because they bought something that was for $14,750, which is wasn't on the list, but it was something like that, that they got a specific dollar amount. And then the other one they talked about was their 2-year grants that you could get up to 75,000 for 2 years with an option of extending depending what's going on. But they had some fairly, what they were talking about to me, and it was new, I had never gone to one of the commission meetings, which I found very interesting. But they have, it sounds like some very stricter rules, like it can't be towards employee salaries.
Really staffing.
You can't, right, and so they talked about how some of the grants have contracted services in, and that's probably not the best use of money, so they're looking to change that. But I know that there's some other things we want to talk about, but one of the things I want to throw out is perhaps now that we're down to almost no money. And it's something that you've brought up, Commissioner Piper, is to come up with some sort of evaluation tool or a ceiling on the amount of money. And if it's over that, there would have to be some very specific description of it. And just to make it a little more, I think what happened is we weren't getting money and we were very generous, which I was 100% in support of. And then as people realized that we had this money, we have more and more and more requests, and I want to be able to do well for different groups. And I don't have an answer, but I think it might be something we'd want to talk about if we want to start doing that.
And I think that these are all fairly small amounts that people could apply for. So some of these, requests here could be satisfied perhaps. I think they're just reopening that Granite United Way.
Yes.
Grant again. So people could, these perhaps could be good.
And do individual, like for example, would Woodsville do their own application to Granite United Way? Is that-
Yes,
Oh,
yeah, for these small.
Yep.
amounts.
That is, just to ask Commissioner Hedberg a question, I think that that system setting up is a very good idea. But does that mean that even though agencies are applying directly to Granite United Way, that the county would still be involved? Why would we have any?
No, I mean, just when we get more money
Oh,
for us to go.
absolutely.
For us to go forward, I think we should have a
Absolutely.
more objective, because every request we've gotten is valid and useful and whatnot.
Yeah.
I just think we should have a more objective way.
Maybe like once or twice a year, like.
And we can figure all that out instead of just a first come, first serve, because there's a lot of. And then people also then know, if they have a $80,000 request, we're not looking at anything over X dollars or
Sure.
something to, because I think we should do these, but certainly we only have about $30,000 left at the moment. And then we'll go through the budget process and see if we need to use that on one-time things. But it sounds like the Granite United Way, it was very much one-time uses.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Setting up programs, but not continuation of programs. And I think we've been pretty good with that, but not completely. And we've tried to do, especially recently, the one-time purchases of things, so.
I think,
Yeah, I think that works for small amounts. I don't think we're gonna get a lot of money in the coming months. I think.
Right.
It's going to be maybe in September is what he
Yeah.
said, and it's just, so as soon as the money comes in, they take 15% right off the top. And then they get it out to the communities. And so some have, like they were talking yesterday, of very small amounts. Well, because we're a full county, that's probably why we've had a little bit more. But I don't want to compete. I mean, they're serving a certain purpose.
Right.
For that amount. I don't think we need to be doing the same thing.
Right.
right.
They are. don't think that makes a lot of sense.
Exactly, but I think we should have our own little set of,
How will we do that
I
without
don't-
knowing how much money we?
well, that,
we go what?
exactly.
Yeah.
I am struggling with that, but
Yeah.
even if we, right. And maybe the dollar amount changes when we get money in. So if we
Mhm.
get 300,000 in, we could let people know that we have this amount of money and we would accept requests up
Mhm.
to X amount and they would be, it would be a competitive process, or I don't know, so, but because you're right, it can't be the same amount. You know, if we had a windfall and got $800,000 in, it might be a little different.
Yeah, but stating a limit, like, you know, in terms of, we don't know how much money we're gonna get, I do think that's a little bit of a separate issue, that we should put forth a system, or create a system, that is competitive and that, is fair, and objective criteria, and that way we're not, the first come, first serve, I don't think is good practice.
I
And
think my goal was just.
To get it
Why
out.
You know,
why not save lives when you can?
It-
All of these things were.
No, they weren't, I think that we all voted for
that
them.
on this money
Yeah,
for
we-
years, I think.
And I think we did good,
Yeah.
but going forward, when we won't have that much money, having some objective. And even if it's not 2 times a year, 3 times, whatever, even
Yeah.
if it's a rolling request, but just have some way to look at it. And I don't know the way that is,
Do
but
you know if the other counties do
I
something?
don't know, and maybe that's a good, reach out,
Yeah.
see if.
that'd be
We could
great.
do a session at the. In November.
Yeah,
On, if there's anybody that does have it, they could explain to others what they do. I know some of the counties are much bigger than us, so.
Right.
Those southern counties really had.
And you're stressing going forward, when we know that there's gonna be money available, and just, I hate to hear people, some agencies hear of the money and others don't.
Right.
And that's unfortunate, based on all the needs. And I hate to say this again, but we did do that, the ARPA money was really important too, that went out to
We did that.
to the businesses and the nonprofits. That was really important, and it was a competitive process.
so.
And we were able to make a lot of people happy. I mean, we were able to
Yeah.
help a lot of
Yeah.
people.
And I think we've helped a lot of people this way, but I think going forward, since we'll probably have smaller dollar
Mhm.
amounts coming in,
Yeah.
and
I think we just save it for the county budget.
for right now,
I mean, because next year we may not have, we should figure out what it is in the budget that we're using. And then make sure that at least is held, held steady.
Hmm.
And then see what's beyond that. I think the more important thing was that they're setting aside, they have a 6.5 million that they're setting aside. They're putting an RFP out probably within the week.
How much?
6.5 million.
Okay.
And they are doing a broad range RFP. They described it as priorities are things that they haven't funded as much in the past.
Hmm.
And so just for those who may hear us online, this is what I wrote down with the statutory requirements. This time will be that they're gonna use our prevention for older adults. Expand access to treatment, expand access to housing, provide programs that provide transportation. Those that provide support services for individuals and those that support first responders.
Wow.
Yeah, so basically they will want a project plan, explanation of the need. Can you do it? How, make sure that you're actually able to carry this out with the funding if you get it, and then how much is needed for that project. Very short, 5-page maximum, so they want concise and efficient approaches. They'll be scored by, they'll go through those priorities that I mentioned. And they will, so one in each area, they'll go through and whoever scores the highest in each of those areas will get the funding. Then they'll go back to the top again and go back down through. So they're not dividing it out by different, certain amounts of money for each of those areas, but they'll have it go through that process. And so, they were coming up with a subcommittee that would be going through those applications. And, that they'll be posted within a week on the DHHS website with a link to the opioid abatement fund website so that people can go in and look at that. So they did not mention that I know of, they didn't mention a top dollar amount.
They didn't say anything about a dollar amount. I just went back, and was looking at the, what the Grant United Way, the grant opportunities for was a short-term responsive grants, that's what they called them. And those were all up to the $15,000 for timely projects that address emerging needs, filling gaps, or strengthen community capacity. And so that's what the current ones were. And so we'll see if they have a dollar amount. And this didn't, this one looked like it was going through DHHS and not Granite United Way. So this is a little bit different, and I
These
do,
are much.
I did not, right, I did not see anything about, or remember a dollar amount that they would.
They do have listed on the opiate abatement trust fund website what they've given in the past through this RFP process. And there were like 3 counties that had gotten funding through that process.
And some of them, one of them I was reading, and I don't remember which county, it was similar to some of the things we've done with our own funds for our alternative sentencing.
Mhm.
So it may be a way that we could get funding for our own programs. But again, it can't be to pay the ongoing salaries, but something like the,
This one didn't. have a
Well, we don't
restriction
know
on that.
what-
This
right.
didn't have a restriction on salaries.
maybe not.
Yeah, this, just the.
But-
grant way.
I think they talked, there was a lot of discussion on, for all of the funding of, not having it for an ongoing, not having an ongoing fund, that they haven't been able to figure out how to fund in a different way.
Some of those were funded for more than 1 year. They were
Right.
2 years of funding, so
Yeah.
there was.
No, but I mean in the long term,
Yeah.
not like hiring the request we got for the, from the North Country.
Fits perfect.
And they can look at that, but
Yeah.
not, but it was for hiring a person and then how to figure out how to get that on an ongoing basis. But that was something, and they have gotten grants through them. They were on the webpage that they have gotten grants for them. And then Families Flourish, the ones, the new group that we were looking to fund, they also have gotten money through
Nice.
through the
Yeah.
state
So
opioid
it would
abatement.
be helpful, I think, if the staff could check in on that when that application comes up. So
Will,
to see if
You
there's
think Julie will get a notification?
I don't
Do you know
know.
how we'll
I
be
don't
notified?
know. I think we just need to check the DHHS RFP website, that part of the website.
Okay.
And it sounds like they're going to try and move it along fairly quickly. Like it's gonna get out, and it did not say how long the RFP would
Like
be.
within the week, you said?
That's what they said.
Yeah, and they said something about it depend who was reviewing the requests for RFPs, how fast it would come out.
And may I ask, once they receive these RFPs, did they say how soon the funding would go out?
No, but it would, I think in the RFP, the language was in there as well.
Okay.
And it would go through the governor and council process, they said. So they were
Just
coming
curious,
up
like
with
the
it.
timing of it, would it
Yeah.
work?
It
jive
takes
with our-
DHHS, it takes DHHS longer than any
Gotcha.
other agency in the state to get contracts done and out the door. And then they did end the meeting by talking about more payments. There are settlements with 8 minor opioid manufacturers that are in process. There'll mostly be a one-time payment in small amounts, around 2 million in those payments. And then they talked about payments that will come in from distributors. So they also are getting funding from CVS, et cetera, and other drug stores. And then Purdue they are expecting about 15 million additional funding from that. Yeah, I wasn't sure how to spell Purdue. I'm like, wait, is that Purdue? Which Purdue is this anyways?
Purdue chicken or.
I think it's spelled the same way, but I'm not 100%
I'm
sure.
like, okay. I'm gonna assume it's a chicken diet.
This chicken manufacturers.
A farmer source. So I guess they're gonna meet again in June, but, yeah,
But I think they're hoping to have some decision on the RFPs by June.
Good.
yeah.
So. And I'm not really sure where on the DHHS webpage it would
Yeah.
be, because looking at their website, I'm not.
I'll see. I
Uh,
did a
you-
lot of RFPs.
I was gonna say, I was good, yeah.
Trying to remember what they call it, if it's a vendor, procurement. You type that in, I think that's what they call it, procurement. Contracts and procurement opportunities.
Oh, you have that?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a lot of old ones on there too, so the closed ones are on there and the current ones. I think I haven't sent it to you. Type in DHHS NH procurement. And there are requests for proposals there. Yeah, it's a
Yep,
lot
I
different,
see.
yeah. There's a lot of them. We might even find those.
Oh, wait,
This was
request
very
RSG mitigating impacts of the opioid crisis, date April 6, 2026.
So they put it out.
They
yesterday.
put it out yesterday.
Ah, within the week,
How
they
about
weren't
that?
kidding.
Well, and they did say it could be, today or.
Yeah, on behalf of the opioid abatement advisory commission. Fantastic.
And the close date and time is May 15th at noon.
So it takes probably 2 months after that to get the money out. Okay. Sometimes they do a call as well, like they might do a vendor call, to help
Okay.
answer questions that I'll have.
And do you envision the county as a whole submitting, or maybe like departments, DOC, alternative sentencing,
I think
Just have to read
I think it has to come in through the
county
county.
as well?
And
Yeah,
I think they said that on page 5 was, because there's a lot of background, and that's the grant agreement requirements. And that's for some of the things that you mentioned, and then,
Term around May 15th.
yeah. And, and then there was something else, I think, on how they're scoring.
They went right home, right back to their office and did all that, yes, updated it.
And they did say that it was on someone's desk, and
Was ready to go.
if one
really.
person was doing it, it would be really fast, and if somebody else had to look at it, it would be longer.
And then it explains what you gotta send in. And
And it does,
collaboration's important. One of the important things, so that's. So having like North Country and the alternative sentencing working together, or other community groups working together. And it's worth 150 points. So they tell you what,
Wow,
yeah,
interesting.
yeah, I think they.
Get people out of your silos.
Yeah,
and as I scan through it, I don't see an upper limit that did you see $1? I mean, other than what they have for the 6.5 million total.
right. Well, they do have it based
Right.
on your priorities, yeah.
Yeah.
1.5, 1.5, 8.5, so priority
Yeah.
6 is 300, I think that was the first responder.
Yeah.
Priority. And those are probably mostly, equipment requests.
Yeah.
So this will be important for us to get out, because they're gonna have, this money is gonna be available for anything we have.
Right.
I don't know, maybe you and Julie can talk
Yeah,
about it and just see
for
if
sure.
I could think Come back with some suggestions.
And then the
for-
Granite United Way stuff would be more for like towns and individual bit like Woodsville Ambulance or.
I think they can still do it, but I don't know if there's, when they're accepting new requests. And those were, the supportive ones were, like for one-time things were only up to 15,000. And the other ones, I wasn't clear on if they're doing a rolling application process for the multi-year ones. I did you get that? I didn't.
And this is all coming from the opioid lawsuit.
Yeah, wow. Good work.
And getting back to the requests we had that have come in, I think Holly, can you, I'm asking whether we should have Holly respond that we're not able to fund anything additional at the moment.
Good, yes.
But give them maybe more to this and to the Granite Way.
Yeah.
Because these guys have money at the moment.
Right.
There's one error in there.
In the RFP.
Yeah. This stuff sometimes is overwhelming to people, frankly.
Well, I will say when we did the one for the rural transformation, I was very grateful that you had such experience writing grants because how you phrase it and what goes where is a skill that
Yeah.
is not, it's not in my skill set. I can help figure out wording for things, but sitting down and doing
Yeah.
all on my own is outside of my skill set.
But the biggest challenge is always asking people, what are you gonna actually use the money for? That's the hardest question with somebody to answer when you're writing grants. They have all these ideas of what they're gonna, but what is the money gonna pay for? Have to be really clear about that. The rest of it is often repeating what they write.
Yeah.
Right back to them.
Yep, isn't
Right.
that funny?
Yeah.
Yep. From that.
Yeah. It's fun if you're be successful at it. It's fun. But, yeah, so I'll get back to Mr. Bouffard,
Okay.
and we can get back to the other two.
And I think we can have them send us a request, but we'll just keep it on file.
It just, Attorney Buffetti repeated that, this money would probably not come in until the fall, that we'll get out
Right.
organizations.
And it's unclear how much it will be. I did not get the idea that anyone thought it was gonna be a windfall this time. And they did mention that one of the big settlements came in as a lump sum payment, so that's already come in and gone out.
So it would be helpful, I think, in the minutes, Sam, if you can put a link to the DHHS fee.
Yeah, someone send me the.
The link, and then also to the Granite United Way. I just think that would help people who might be.
You have, so reopening that.
Get the other one to come up. If you type in, Granite United Way opioid abatement, that grant program should come up. And what's there right now is, application opens
Oh,
April 6th.
Wow.
application due May
Wow.
1st.
Oh, my
Yeah,
gosh.
you got that, just if you go down the page, you see where that is.
I'll send it to you. Both.
Yeah.
So the short-term response grant, the cycle 2 closed on 1/23/26. And the multi-year one closed on 2/18, so those are not,
But that's the upcoming ones of the short-term responsive grants. Application opens April 6th, and a multi-year. That one. Yeah, that's one I think that's
so,
closed.
and that's the one for cycle 3 then, I guess.
Three. Multi-year one. Doesn't look like that's open, that one's closed. Unless they're gonna get something else now.
And for the response grants, they may not be used for, at this point, and they're looking to maybe change it. Salaries or wages, rent, utilities, or other operational expenses, or capital or construction projects.
And didn't they also say that they had an overwhelming response? to these?
Yeah, a lot of people were not funded, they said.
Yeah.
And in their instructions, it has for both the short-term response and the multi-year. On the instructions. Oh, yeah, it does say cycle 3 right there.
Good opportunity.
Yeah, for sure. You don't wanna, that's not.
Great, I think, was there any other commissioners' issues?
No, not from me.
Not for me.
All right, I think we'll open up for public comment. There's no one here in the room, anyone online, Mr. DeMayo?
Good morning.
Good morning.
I have a couple of comments, but I'd like to phrase them as a question. Purdue is not the chicken company. Purdue is, Purdue, I just looked it up online. Purdue is Purdue Pharma, PHARMA. It's a manufacturing of OxyContin and fueling the US opioid crisis. They're in Chapter 11 bankruptcy. They're going to be changing their name to NOA, KNOA Pharmacy. So they have a massive litigation of $7.4 billion. And I guess that's where the opioid abatement money is coming from. And don't mean to be personal, but one of our gubernatorial candidates on the Democrat side was a lobbyist for Purdue Pharma. So anyway, that's you should know that in case somebody asks you about Purdue again. The other thing is,
I think we do know who they are.
oh, well, you guys
Yes.
were making a joke of it. I thought you didn't know.
We were just asking about the
The
spelling.
spelling,
Oh, okay.
we do know that.
Purdue, like the university. The other thing is, you were talking about giving a grant to Lincoln Police Department of $32,000 for a cruiser. I think if I'm, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think if they pull over a vehicle in which drugs are found, I believe they can get that vehicle for free. If a drug addict or a drug dealer has a vehicle and they're found guilty of doing drugs on Route 93 at the Commissioner McLeod, you said at the drug at the Wayside things for the trails, I mean, that's public property. I think if they're found guilty of dealing drugs or doing drugs, their vehicles can be impounded and given to the police departments for free. I don't think you have to give them $32,000 to buy a police vehicle. Okay, one more thing that these response grants has restrictions. And it says no salaries, if I'm understanding Commissioner Hedberg correctly. Didn't you just give out an opioid abatement grant to the Littleton Winter Homeless Shelter, and you paid $150,000 for 3 years for supervisor pay? Isn't that a salary? I guess at that I'm done.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Anyone else online? Okay, not hearing any. We'll close the public comment session. And I think just in the clarification here, the grant rate response grants are some requirements are their own requirements for those funding sources. Those, that has nothing to do with the actual opioid abatement fund requirements or allow expenses. So that's just something that they have set up for those 50.
Separate.
Yeah, 50,000 all at once. Okay, anything else?
No,
I will move to adjourn the meeting.
second.
All in favor? Aye.